What's up, everyone? Today I don't really know how to do these intros. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be listing my top 5 videos, the best moments of Peter McKinnon's YouTube channel.
Let's get rockin'!
Coming in 5th place, we've got a video that was launched in December of 2016, so way back, and that is 8 camera hacks in 90 seconds. I'll be honest, I don't really use many of the hacks that are on that list. I mean, I have never smeared, I think it was like lipstick onto a lens before, but it wouldn't feel right to not include this video on this list because it is kind of the video that launched his career, at least as a YouTube creator. But I will say, I watched the video again in preparation for making this video, and the belt trick thing is pretty useful. And I mean, I'm wearing a belt every day, so I may give that one a go soon. One funny thing about this video is that he currently has a series called 2 Minute Tuesday, and he pretty much never actually keeps the video under 2 minutes. But the 8 camera hacks in 90 seconds, he keeps it in under 90 seconds. He sticks to his word. Great video. Good way to start off the list. All right, now coming in 4th place is a video that was uploaded this month, like literally this month. When I'm recording this, it's still April, and he launched it in April of 2019. And it is 60p versus 120p. Can you spot the difference? I'll go ahead and save you the suspense. It's pretty hard to spot the difference. In this video, he's kind of making the point that if all you have is 60 frames per second, you can still work with that. You don't need to worry about it. I think that's good for people who are just starting out and they've kind of noticed that 120 frames per second is popular right now, but they might not be able to afford a camera that can do that. So I think this is a really good video for those reasons. This is also a pretty cool video because he is famous for using 120 frames per second quite a bit. So seeing him show that you don't have to lean on 120 frames per second as a crutch is pretty cool. It's just a really solid video that kind of drives home the point that it's not all about the gear that you have, but the way that you use your gear and the creativity that you put into your projects. I will say, I wish that he had pointed out that it's much easier to make 60 frames per second look like 120 frames per second when you're shooting inanimate objects the way he is, because if you're shooting somebody blink, there's just no changing the fact that the person's going to blink slower in 120 frames per second than they would in 60 frames per second. So I wish he would have pointed that out, but nevertheless, it's a fantastic video. It's just insane that he has been doing this for like, I think over 3 years now, and he can still put out content of that quality level. Coming in 3rd place, we are traveling all the way back to January 2017, and we are taking a look at cheap lighting setup on a budget, DIY. This video is really cool because there's educational value in it. He teaches you how to bounce light off a foam core, use gels, and he's doing it with really cheap equipment, and the result is not that much different than my lighting setup right now. But he's doing it with an LED panel that costs 35 bucks, like a foam core that costs him almost nothing. I'm pretty sure he keeps it under $50. This is the perfect video for somebody who's just starting out on YouTube to stumble on, because if you're not willing to commit hundreds or thousands of dollars into lighting, but you still want to have an aesthetic that is pleasing to the eye, this is the perfect video for you. And that is why it is 3rd place on the list. Now, I was really struggling with how I wanted to order the 3rd place video and the 2nd place video because I think they're both really good. But ultimately, I put this one in 2nd place because it actually changed the way I use my camera forever. And that is a video that came out in May of 2017, and it is called Shaky Footage: How to Get Smooth Handheld Shots Like a Beast. Okay, honestly, I went to film school for 4 years, and I probably never received any practical advice that was as good as this, and I'm not joking in the slightest. If I could have just had one professor that would have said, hey, 3 points of contact, that's gonna help you get really smooth shots, you know, and one way you can do that is by putting the strap that comes with your camera around your neck and putting some tension on that. You know, that would have been great, but instead we talked about Citizen Kane pretty much every single day, I think. I don't think there was a day in film school that we did not talk about Citizen Kane, so thanks for that, Orson Welles. Great movie, great movie. Could have really used some practical advice, though. That would have been nice. And I know that Peter McKinnon is not the first person who has said to do this little strap thing, but honestly, it just is a really nice video. There's other tips in there that are super useful as well. He talks about how you can kind of fall forward and then use those few frames where you are free falling to get super smooth footage. It is definitely a really nice video with a lot of solid tips all in one place. So that is why that video, specifically that and this, that is why that video comes in 2nd place. All right, now for the last video on this bucket list, and I just gave it away. The video that came in first place is the bucket shot. For those of you that are either living under a rock or just for some other reason you don't know what the bucket shot is, it is a documentary detailing the struggles of nailing that perfect photo and what it takes to get that shot. Keep in mind, this is not Peter's first attempt at a mini documentary. He worked on another one called The Bowl, which I think The Bowl arguably might be a more important piece of work just because of the themes that it deals with, but I'm gonna put the bucket shot as his #1 video for these reasons right here. I've always really enjoyed breaking things down into really intricate details. Like that show How It's Made. I didn't like sit around binge watching that when I was a kid, but when it was on, I definitely enjoyed watching it. When I was in college, I wrote a 120-page screenplay, and one of the driving plot points was somebody trying over and over again to land their last trick in a skate part, because I've always been fascinated with how long it takes people to land tricks that they're trying to film for a skate part, specifically their last trick, because if you don't skateboard, the last trick in your video part is supposed to be the best one. People spend days and days on that. So I've always been really interested in breaking things down to the super fine details and what it takes to achieve something that is really hard to complete. So naturally, this documentary just resonated with me a lot. I really enjoy how it doesn't feel scripted at all. Like, you can tell that he really was not expecting that fog that he had to deal with. I feel like it's extremely relatable. Like, anytime that you were planning something that was super important to you and you have things go wrong that you have to overcome, it feels like that. The video launched like a little over 4 months ago. I've probably watched it 5 or 6 times all the way through. There's just a lot of small details that I really enjoy in this video too. I like the shot where he's hanging up the picture, but he's covering it so you can't see it yet, so you still kind of like the suspense of seeing the shot is there. The part where he finishes up drinking coffee down the lake, he realizes that the fog is gone. He comes up to take the picture. There's one part that's just so great. It's a really small detail, but I really love this detail. What he could have done to show himself, you know, getting the shot, he could have just recorded a little bit of video from the top. So it's like, yeah, beautiful shot, awesome, he's about to take a picture. But small detail, but what he does is he's zoomed in and then he records himself zooming out, and what that does is it really puts you in his shoes. Like, you feel like you're there framing up the shot. If he would have just had it be a static wide shot, it would have been pretty cool, it would have worked. But because he does that quick zoom out, it really feels like you're actually holding the camera, and it's like you feel like you just framed up the shot. When he zooms out, everything goes silent, and if you know anything about sound design, you know that silence can be a great way to emphasize a point.
My friends were at the base of the lake, you couldn't see them. It was perfectly still, perfectly quiet. I snapped the frame. And I nailed it.
I can't really think of a better way to show the moment that he finally got the shot. Like, it was honestly perfect. And that is why it is the best video ever put on his channel. All right, guys, that is my best of Peter McKinnon top 5 videos. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, go ahead and hit that like button. Smash it if that's something that you're into. Oh, you see what I did there? Oh, I'm just not as good as him. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Wouldn't mind doing more of these in the future. It was honestly kind of fun, just like traveling down his timeline and like looking at the videos and thinking about which ones I wanted to put in this review. So if you guys enjoyed it as well, go ahead and leave some suggestions in the comment box on who I should do next. I think this could be a pretty fun little series. I mean, why not? There's people out there reviewing music. There's people out there reviewing movies. Why can't we review YouTube channels? Yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.